remember the endocrine glands. The glands in your body controls everything from your moods to your thoughts in a way to the functions of all the chemical processes in the human body. Your glands literally control all the processes. Tongue's always white, even after years of cleansing and herbs. I think I can't heal because of the emotions. No, Brandon, forget that. Don't let your emotions power you down. You power them out, right? You take control over your adrenals. These are glands, but they're not as powerful as you are, Brandon. So gain control that way. Don't be the leaf in the wind. Anything that happens outside of you with your bodies, with the mind, with the emotions, with your physical body, that's your bodies. You're only using those things. Those came out of genetics from families. That's how we bring human bodies here. We don't lay eggs. So you just have to you have to get into that happy place, that place of extreme bliss and ecstasy and joy, the place that no one can take you away from unless you let them. And then you work yourself through this. You let your body, at the same time, you stay separate from your body. There's nothing wrong with you. It's your bodies you're having trouble with. You fix them. Don't bring it into you. Don't bring your pain and your suffering into the house, into you. You want to keep that pure and full of love and joy, and let your bodies. I'm learning how to make the bodies healthy. We don't have a manual when we get here. So we're learning how to make these bodies healthy. Humans took some byways and pathways in the beginning developments of the Homo sapien consciousness, and we're coming out of that, I hope, but it's still a rough road. You know, when our glands are down, our emotions go down, our sense of self-worth goes down, all these things go down, guys. So work on your glands always. And emotional detox is real. That's your adrenal glands, and that is down in so many of us. I mean, it's everywhere. Depression comes out of calcium utilization problems, parathyroid. All you psychiatrists, parathyroid for depression, not antidepressants. When the thyroid is down and the parathyroid is down, that's depression, remember? And that's also, on the flip side, I don't love myself. I don't care about myself. And also you add that to the adrenals that are down, that's your emotions. And then you're weak in that field. People take advantage of you emotionally. You easy to adhere to another or things. Attachment is a good example, where we attach ourselves to other people. And you should never need anyone or anything other than you. You've got to get to that point if you want to survive the future here on this planet. Sadness and no purpose in life. Well, because your glands are down. All your endos are down. Sounds like all your endos sound like they're down. Admittingly, when the endocrine glands are down, particularly the thyroid and parathyroid, your feeling of self-worth, of self-love is down. Remember, one of the symptoms of parathyroid weakness is depression. And that's because you lose calcium. So depression. Postpartum depression. A lot of women feel guilty over postpartum depression. It has nothing to do with children. It has everything to do with the loss of calcium from your having children, but nothing about the children. Pull yourself back into a state of happiness and get rid of this depression. That's a parathyroid problem. That's a calcium problem. Your babies took your calcium. Time for mama to put all this back in her. Get your adrenals up. That's your emotions. That's your neurological system. And you'll start getting all this out of you, and you'll start feeling good again. If psychiatrists only knew how simple it is to fix depression, but putting people on these antidepressants that only lead them to suicide, I don't know. I mean, we're still living in darky, agey thinking stuff. When a woman has postpartum depression, why? What made her go into depression? A lot of people do not associate depression and calcium, link them together, because when your parathyroid isn't allowing you to utilize calcium properly, depression comes in. Here's a mother, 3 kids, All 3 kids robbing her body of calcium, and with a parathyroid weakness, she can't put it back, and gave her major postpartum depression. She's lucky. She's lucky she still has her marbles here. Remember Andrea Yates? She drowned 5 of her babies. Major postpartum depression. She's still on antidepressants and things like this. These guys don't learn. Low self-esteem and extreme shyness. Well, extreme shyness is your adrenals. But you also have the parathyroid, which is this low self, and thyroid. This is your self-esteem. When your thyroid is low, then you have no self-esteem. Yes, my adrenals aren't really, sounds like it. Must be from all those panic attacks. Well, actually, the reverse. The weak adrenals causes the panic attacks. See, that's the problem. It's the reverse. And that's what I'm saying when I say medical doctors tend to work at the ass end of the donkey. They think that panic attacks hurts the adrenals when the adrenal weakness causes the panic attack. I'll say this. Everyone needs to get healthy. So you go into the adrenals, that's your emotional components. You get into your parathyroids, that's your lack of love of yourself. You know, all the hormones and steroids are all out of whack in people. So you can have a male with high estrogen levels. He's going to think more female. A female with high testosterone levels are going to think more male, and you see all these differences. So the big issue is getting yourself into a state of balance, whatever that means. It's enough to say that this individual, this transgender, that was essential for that soul's experience. And you have to accept that because that's why that individual's having the experience. Is there a popular medical theory about why transsexuality? Well, if you were going to nail it to chemistry, you'd nail it to steroid imbalances. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know if you could go to the pituitary and pick anything up there, but it's not a negative experience. It's an experience. Because we can't judge from a higher consciousness whether it's bad or good. It just is. Now, you hear me rat off on medicines and pharmaceuticals and all the deaths and everything else, and yes. But there's another side of me that looks at that and says it just is what it is for what it needs to be at this level of growth of the human consciousness. Remember, the human consciousness is not an old consciousness. This is a fairly new, immature consciousness. I was diagnosed by my psychiatrist as having anxiety and depression. You know, here's another thing. Don't take these type of things in as if you're depressed and you have anxieties. You don't, but your bodies are leading you into that world and affecting you and pulling your consciousness down to that. There are tissues responsible for each one of these. What tissues are responsible for depression? Parathyroid. What tissues are responsible for anxieties? Adrenals. Get your adrenals up. That's where you're weak. You're emotionally weak, honey, and you get your adrenals up. That'll strengthen you up emotionally. And if you get strong emotionally, then you can kick all this stuff in the butt, can't you? He's right. Okay. You can't just say stress. You have to look at lifestyle. What are you consuming in chemistry? And it is what man thought we should be consuming, but his thinking is just that. Thinking is conditioned state of activity. So your nervous system is hyper. What's making it hyper? Well, we live in the world of chemistry, so let's look from a chemical viewpoint. And a chemical viewpoint would be just what you're feeling. Acids are at this level making you hyperactive. But keep in mind, the chew will come and the cells will fall. So you need to detox this out of you because there's no other remedy. Okay, pee in a jar. Are you filtering? Get your adrenals up. You know, work on your lymph system. Because outside of that, there's no remedy. This isn't a blood problem, but can become one. I'm being told it's stress. Oh, give me a break. You know, when someone says something like that, stress, I just want to slap them upside the face. You know, humans on this planet, I got to quit. I don't know. I mean, the human consciousness is amazing to me. I can see why God's sending some troops here. It's just, holy crap. Stress. Right. I don't believe it. And good, Paul, because that's bullshit. Yes, I'm stressed now. Yeah, and that'll shut your adrenals down and then even more lymphatic problems. Don't stress. Pull everything outside of you. It's just your body's having the trouble, not you. Now you're learning how to deal with your bodies and how to fix them. If I move forward and I see anxiety, what did I just talk about caused anxiety? Adrenal glands. Move forward one more, low energy. Which gland is most notorious for that? Adrenal glands. So, adrenal gland sits on top of kidneys. So when the adrenals are weak, we just talked about that, the kidneys go weak and you lose your filtration. Stress is my enemy, no kidding. But that's your adrenals. Your enemy is your inability to control that. Your enemy isn't the stress, it's your inability to take the stress and deal with it properly. But that happens with weak adrenals. When the adrenals are weak in people, it's hard to learn how to control stress or not care. But you have to learn detachment. Part of how you learn to leave this world is to not care for this world. The more you care for everything in this world, the more it's your world. And that's okay if you want to stay around and keep the cycles going here, but there's so much more finer, more nirvanic, greater in every way worlds that are beyond this world. The simplicity of the whole thing is clean and strengthen out the human body. In doing that in a physical level, it will then reach into your etheric emotional body called the astral body. That'll clean up the mental body, because all these different compartments, all these different realms, all these different bodies, all these different areas that you deal with simultaneously along with the human body has to be cleaned up as well. And you're the powerhouse of them all. The soul carries all these bodies, and to finally get to a level this inert, you have to have protection. Soul couldn't be here. You can't be here in your grandest. So you have to use a body that is equivalent to the chemistry or physics or magnetics of the level you're at. Every cell in your body can regenerate. The question is, can you ride the ride? It isn't that your body. Can your body do it? Can you do it? That's the point. When you're looking at an individual, you have components that you have to work through, which most of you are aware of. You have emotional components and you have mental components. The emotional components are basically controlled by the chakra of the adrenals, and the thought or the mental issues are controlled by thyroid and parathyroid. And these are chakras, these are energy centers related to your other bodies. Your thyroid and parathyroid, this is related to the mental body. Your adrenals to your astral body, no question. So with schizophrenia and bipolar and the like, you want to work on the endocrine glands. These are more where your karma is stored. This is your inner bodies, your etheric bodies, your emotions, your mind. All these glands are related to these. So you've got two-way street. You've got genetic weaknesses in the cells. Then you've got the fluid problem that takes care of the cells. And then you got the karma that's coming down on all of that from the soul's journeys. So it's quite a bit, you know, and you have to think about all that. But in essence, if you relax and let it all go, I've been giving you little tidbits here. If you relax and let it all go, it'll work itself right out. You know the tools to hydrate and get your body more base balanced and get the lymph filtering through the kidneys and the skin, and get all this inflammation out of the body, repair any damage that's going on, remember yourself genetically to a higher level of consciousness. It's just reversing how you go the other way. It's that simple. Don't make things hard here. It's just reversing how cells lose their memories of what their performance should be. And how does that happen? Well, you only have two major fluids that control that. Of course, you have the consciousness of the individual. There's no question about that. So you have several factors that come in on a cell. The consciousness of the individual soul that's using that body, but also chemistry. Chemistry is chemistry, and it controls everything at this level. No hopes. Make it so. I'm serious. Make it so. I don't live in the world of maybes. If you live in the world of maybes, then good luck. Go in the worlds of I will, and we will do this. Absolutely. And who's God? We are. It isn't God that gets out of balance, it's we that get out of balance. And of course, anything you feel, we all feel. When you come in and sit in front of me, I feel everything you're thinking. I feel you totally.